Hello YouTube, today we're in Stockport Station, which obviously means we're going down to London for the weekend. But the train journey down will not be included in this video, because I'm going to be making it as a separate video, as in episode 2 of my new kind of experimental series, the railway journeys, which will be done without commentary, so in a more kind of quieter style. By the time this is uploaded, the Huddersfield to Manchester video will probably have been uploaded, so it'll be like that. So we'll pick up this video after we arrive in London Euston. It's greetings from London. Hello and welcome back. Here we are in London Euston. Of course, the most beautiful station in the known universe. Sounds like a title of a Leafy is Here video. So, as I said, the journey was filmed in a separate video you can find in the description below. So, our hotel is in Paddington, but we're now heading to St James's Park, or Victoria, Westminster kind of area. I think we've got a bunch of things first. I think first off we're going to go see Churchill's War Rooms, which should be interesting. We're going to be taking the tube to Westminster. And that will be the Circle Line from Euston Square. So we've come out the side entrance of Euston. Here is the abandoned Euston entrance to the tube. When Euston was rebuilt in the 60s, the entrance was resited to inside the concourse, and the old building was left abandoned and still is. Creepy. As the Circle Line is evidently closed, we will have to change at Baker Street for the Jubilee Line to get to Westminster instead. We're here at Euston Square, so you've still got Metropolitan Line services. And here comes one now, but it seems to be on the other side. Circle Line. What? They just tell us the entire Circle Line is not running, and here's a Circle Line. I'm not even going to try and wrap my head around this one. This is a Metropolitan Line train to Uxbridge.
My daily commute to Baker Street.
It's great.
Wilson Green. Wilson Green, train to Baker Street. Circle Line.
Here we are at Baker Street, the Metropolitan Line section. So the junction is just back there, and then there's also a separate set of platforms underground for the Circle and Hammersmith and City Line. And then you have to go down to get to the Jubilee Line, as that is underground. I quite like the Metropolitan Line Baker Street station. It's very Victorian, quite. It's got a kind of heritage railway feeling to it almost, I dare say. Although you've got very modern trains running through. Ah, interesting. There seems to be a bay platform here. Odd. You've got some trains that just terminate at Baker Street and don't run through. Oh, very peculiar. So here we are at Westminster, interchanges with the Circle and District Line, although they're not running. And this is the first station on the new section of the Jubilee Line. As I've just discovered about 2 minutes ago, today, October the 7th, is... No, you didn't. This will be the first night of the night tube on the Jubilee Line. That's quite cool. In fact, here's a special roundel to Covent to. Special roundel. Isn't that cool? Well, it's probably unlikely that we'll actually end up riding it, but still, cool thing to do. So as it turns out, today is actually the 8th of October, so last night was the first night. Ah well. and welcome back. We just went to visit the Cabinet War Rooms underneath Whitehall. One of those Churchill's main bunker. He had two others, one in Down Street Underground Station, which unfortunately you cannot visit, and another one which was built as a backup but never used in Hampstead, which you also cannot visit. So that's the only one you can visit, but there are two others. So we are now heading to St James's kind of area, St James Park, Victoria. Is that like that area? We're going to have some lunch, then we're going to split. Noam and I are going to watch a film, while Mum and Dad go and visit 55 Broadway, the headquarters of the Tube, which unfortunately you have to be 16 to enter, which is a bit annoying, because my parents are going to see something Tube related without me. Oh well. We're going to go see Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Hello and welcome back. Here we are in the Victoria area. We just went to the Curzon Cinema to see the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I will discuss it in the next episode of the Dave Frank Show, so tune in to see my review of that. We're now going to head over to Covent Garden for the evening. We could go Tube, but we've decided to take the bus instead, as the 24 from here goes right to Leicester Square, which is very near Covent Garden, and we could also go to Leicester Square. I think that might be a 24 over there, if I'm not too badly mistaken. Is it? Yes, it is. So it's a new route master, which is cool. Old route master from the new route master. It's actually a lot smaller as well.
I know. House Commons. Big Ben.
Elizabeth Tower. And that over there is the building in which our country's ruined. I mean, run. Yeah.
It's in there.
That's where we went before.
No, it's coming.
Downing Street.
It's like that.
It's like that.
It's like that.
That's it,
Whole
that's
thing.
it,
Like
that's it.
yeah. I went through the gate. Yeah. No, what's of that?
So here we are. This isn't quite Leicester Square, but this is the stop. This is Leicester Square station. Yeah, right in the middle of London. Do a bit of wandering around, see Leicester Square, Covent Garden, and then we're just gonna, wing it, do whatever. And at some point we will end up making our way to Paddington, where our hotel is located. So we have made it to Covent Garden after a nice walk and a nice ice cream. Might stop and get some macaroons. So we stopped to get a hot chocolate and we bought some macaroons from Ladare. We're now going to walk. So we're going to head back to our hotel. Now I was feeling a bit unwell, so we're going to call it a relatively early night. Our hotel's in Paddington, so we're going to take the Central Line from Holborn and change at Notting Hill Gate for the District Line. That is the Apple Store, which no longer sells headphone jacks. So as it turns out, I don't think I've ever been on the Central Line before, or at least not that I can remember, or certainly that I've not actually vlogged. So it's almost a bit exciting. This is, I think, the last proper line that I've not been on. The Hammersmith and City, no, not Hammer, the Waterloo and City does not count. So we have made it to Holborn Station, to the Central Line. So here at Holborn, for a very short amount of time, they had a trial. We stand on both sides of the escalator. That has now ended, so we've reverted to the London default of standing on the right and walking on the left. This has just been demonstrated. It seemed to be quite successful, however, so there's a chance to see it return, and it might be, in the future, become the standard across the tube. We're now aiming for the westbound Central Line, which I believe is in this direction. Queensway. We were originally going to wait until Lancaster Gate, Notting Hill Gate, sorry, and change there to get to Paddington. Then I remembered, just out of the blue, one of the most common pieces of tube trivia is about how the tube map distorts reality. And actually, Queensway and Paddington, although it doesn't look like it on the map, are actually really close together. So I just thought, we'll get off here and have a 5-minute walk instead. We are now walking to Paddington. Yep, it is quicker this way, cuts out a bit of extra journey, although it's actually Lancaster Gate you want to go from and not Queensway. So we really should have got off one stop earlier, but it doesn't make that much difference. Either way, it's a 5-minute walk. So at the end of the day, it does not make much difference. So it was 7 minutes driving, not walk, it's a bit longer by walking. Yeah, so we would have got off at, really should have got off at Lancaster Gate, but as it turns out, by complete accident, we seem to be passing Leinster Gardens. And for those of you who don't know, on Leinster Gardens, where the Metropolitan line passes, which is just round here, I think, the Metropolitan line created 2 fake houses to please the residents. So let's see if we can find them. So this is it. Fake doors, grey windows. These are the fake terrace houses of Leinster Gardens that when the Metropolitan Railway built the line, which is now the District and Circle lines, the residents were upset about this massive gaping hole that they left in the terrace, so they decided to please them by filling it up with a fake house. I thought it was going to be on this side because we're heading in this direction. That meant we would have been able to see the back of it as well, but it's actually in the other direction, and since Naam is already fed up of walking, we've decided we're not going to do any extra, so we will not see the back. But that's it, we saw the fake houses of Leinster Gardens. That's quite cool. So here we are at Paddington, nearly at our hotel, almost there. Just a little longer. We're out to, so that's the main entrance to Underground over there, and then there's also this little side entrance to our left, which is what me and Mum used, or Mum and I used last December when we came up here. And I think Paddington Railway Station is just a little further to the left. Day 2. So we're out of our hotel now. We are splitting. Dad and I are going to see my uncle, and Mum and Naam are going to go see the Stamford Bridge football stadium where Chelsea play, so, you know, don't worry, it's not like a significant team or anything. I mean, I dropped football lessons, but I couldn't care less. So we are going to Stamford Hill, now part of the London Overground, was originally part of the East Anglia network, so this should be interesting. So here we are back outside Paddington Station, it was just over there. We're going to Paddington Tube Station, where we are splitting. So Dad and I have a very interesting journey. We're going to be taking the Hammersmith and City line to Liverpool Street. So we get to see the other bits of Paddington and Baker Street stations. Yesterday we saw the Metropolitan line part of Baker Street. Today we see the District line section, not District, Hammersmith, sorry, Hammersmith and City line section of Baker Street. And we also get to revisit King's Cross, the abandoned King's Cross station, which we visited back in April.
They couldn't have like a dedicated...
So we're wandering around Paddington Underground, District line's that way. Hammersmith and City line is guiding us up this way, so we've had to go back out the ticket gate, and now we're in Paddington Concourse. This is very confusing, but hey, we get to see Paddington Concourse, so it's not all that bad, is it? Baker Street has two subsurface stations, one for the Metropolitan line and one for the H&C/Circle lines, as the junction is located before the station. Similarly to Baker Street, Paddington has two distinct subsurface stations, one for the Circle/District lines to High Street Kensington, located south-east of the station, and one for the Circle/H&C lines to Hammersmith, which run alongside the Great Western Main Line between Westwood Park and Paddington. These platforms are located alongside the mainline platforms north of the station by the canal. So by sheer good fortune, we seem to have come across the original livery. How amazing is that? This one they painted in the heritage livery for its 40th birthday. How friggin' cool is that? So we found the other station. This is right with the mainline platforms. Just a little bit confusing. It's not this one we want, it's this side, the eastbound platform. So, how's that look to see the Heritage Intercity 125 at Paddington? Only thing that could top that was if we bumped into the 800, but I'm pretty sure it's in Old Oak Common Depot. So here comes the train, but it's not ours. I don't understand. It says it's going to Aldgate. It says the Circle line is closed and the Hammersmith is closed east of Liverpool Street. So how is this going to Aldgate? This doesn't make any sense at all. So now we join the other branch.
The next station is Edgware Road. Change for Circle and District line services via High Street Kensington.
Wind the gap between the train and the platform.
And here we are at Edgware Road, which is what Londonists describes as the Bermuda Triangle of the London Underground. It's got a lot of platforms. So Edgware Road has 5 platforms, 4 through and 1 bay, so it's basically Manchester Oxford Road. but just for London Underground trains. And now we get to see the other Baker Street station, which I believe is very similar to the Paddington that we didn't see.
The next station is Baker Street. Change for the Bakerloo, Jubilee and Metropolitan lines. Exit for Madame Tussauds.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform.
Wow. And over there you can just see the Metropolitan line station as well.
The next station is Great Portland Street.
So actually have signs on the walls in and out of the station saying move along because these trains are too long for the platforms. Obviously you can't lengthen them because it's old underground station.
Long enough? Enough again?
Here we are at King's Cross, St Pancras. So, as I explained in April, in fact I'll put the little animation here again. The City Widen lines are a section of the Metropolitan line between King's Cross, St Pancras and Moorgate, with 4 tracks instead of 2. Here on this excellent MS Paint diagram, you can see where the Thameslink runs from the Midland Main Line onto the City Widen lines and all the way to Farringdon. It then curves down through the Snow Hill Tunnel. The line once went all the way to Moorgate via Barbican, where trains terminated in the bay platforms. As part of the Thameslink programme, the platforms at Farringdon were widened. The new platform covers over the old line, so trains can no longer run through. The platforms at Barbican and Moorgate are now abandoned. Also seen here are the curves out of the East Coast Main Line, where Great Northern services would also run onto the City Widen lines. The curve on the left was for northbound trains, which had a platform at King's Cross Main Line station. Southbound trains had their own station, called King's Cross York Road, immediately north, and these trains joined onto the City Widen line at the same place as the Thameslink from St Pancras. The original King's Cross Underground station was located just east of this junction until World War II, when it was damaged by bombs, and a new Metropolitan line station was built further west. When Thameslink services restarted, they continued to use the old station at King's Cross until 2007, when the bigger, more spacious St Pancras Thameslink was opened, leaving 2 abandoned stations. The Metropolitan station, which closed in the 1940s, and the Thameslink station, which closed in 2007. The Thameslink and Metropolitan line stations were linked by a passage, and the entrance to the old Thameslink station is still open today as an entrance to the new station. So, we're now going to pass the abandoned King's Cross station again. Not as exciting as the first time, but interesting. Indeed, there it is. There's platform. And over there is the Thameslink station, which we saw in September. So we're now going to stop at Farringdon, where the Thameslink leaves us. Now, last time we missed the back of Barbican station, this time we will not.
The next station is
There it is.
Change for National Rail Services.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform.
So, there we go. You can see the disused platforms at Barbican. See part of it's walled off. I wonder if there are any plans to remove those. Spooky. And as we saw last April, you can still see the bay platforms at Moorgate where the trains would terminate. Those are also now abandoned. Spooky indeed. You still get National Rail services here on the Northern City line, which is completely separate. So here we are at Liverpool Street. Now we get to go on the newest extensions to the Overground to get to Stamford Hill. Well, it's not a new line, but it's a new service. So we have found our train to Cheshire, Stamford Hill. Still the old Abellio Greater Anglia stock, just re-liveried into the Overground. I've changed the seats as well. Actually, they've done a pretty decent job of this.
Really? What's that? They're taking the seats from the old GM buses?
That is not so agreeing. Although they will soon be replaced with brand new Bombardier Aventura trains, which would be much nicer.
They may be removed without notice.
And off we go. So here we are at Stoke Newington. So yeah, not Stamford Hill, Stoke Newington was actually closer. So that was our experience on the newest part of the Overground. Come back in 3 years and there will be refurbished stations in a brand new line. For now it's still a little bit miserable looking. I mean, it's not too bad here. Further down the line close to Liverpool Street it looked a bit miserable. But this is not too bad. Hello and welcome back. We just spent some time at our cousin's house. We spent a little longer than expected, so we are now heading straight back to Euston to catch our train. We're a bit early, which is fine, you know, we can relax a bit. So we are here at Seven Sisters. We got the bus here. We're going to take the Victoria line to Euston. So here we are at London Euston. This is 39125. Our train back to Manchester. There's a 350.
Is 8 o'clock okay?
Yes. Yeah.
The sheet metal on these totally wrong. So I wanted to see the power. And I thought I got one. And there's no power.
And here we are at Stoke-on-Trent.
410.
And here we are at Macclesfield. Hello and welcome back. Here we are at Stockport Station. As usual, this means we are at the end of today's video. Thank you for watching. YouTube. Today the Frankal family has ventured out to Stockport Station, and if you've seen any of my holiday vlogs before, you'll probably know that if we ever come to Stockport Station, it's for one reason, and one reason only. The date is Saturday the 10th of September 2016. It's the London weekend. Aww. Ooh. Before I start this video, I'd like to talk about YouTube Heroes. You see, the problem with YouTube Heroes is, what I meant to say is, YouTube Heroes is great.